Australian farmers are bracing themselves for another long, hot summer as rivers run dry and bushfires rage across the state of New South Wales. Up to 30 houses were destroyed or seriously damaged by fire this week. The situation is at a crisis point, with 98% of New South Wales either in drought or short on water. But as we speak, young Australian farmers are gathering at the summit to share their experiences and find some solutions. Well, joining us now is 21-year-old farmer Sally Downey. She's one of them, and she joins us from the town of Trundle. Sally, thank you so much for joining us. You've experienced many droughts while growing up. How different is this one from the others?
I guess it's different in the sense that it just keeps going. We've been pretty much in drought conditions since about 2017, and then really bad drought conditions since 2018, and it just keeps going. So it's very hard to maintain and kind of plan and prepare for such a long period of drought conditions.
It keeps on going, and you've said, Sally, that when you look out your window, it can really be quite depressing. What sort of emotional toll is this drought taking on you and your fellow young farmers?
It's a really huge emotional toll. Simply because when we look out at the landscape, it's not how it should be. It's not green. We should be getting ready to harvest our grain crops here at the moment, and most people aren't going to get a harvest. So the landscape looks entirely different because there's either people having put in no crops at all, or the crops that have put in have not reached a stage that they are harvestable. And that becomes a real emotional toll for young farmers because that's our future. And you do start to wonder if the future of agriculture is sustainable, simply for the fact that the production is what you used to be seeing, and that's what you aim off. It goes for the same as when we're destocking our sheep and cattle. You're used to having those out there in the paddocks and working with them, and now there's not much work on the farms because we've destocked so much. So I guess it's an emotional toll to see it. It's quite depressing to see the land like it is, but it's also a huge worry on us that about our future in the industry.
It's really a burden for young farmers like yourselves. So you're gathering with your fellow young farmers in this summit. What kind of solutions are you trying to come up with to be able to overcome these issues?
I think really the main thing is we want a stable drought policy. Drought will come in a cycle, as it does in Australia. We know we're going to face droughts in the future, but what we don't want is when a drought comes, everyone to just go into crisis mode and the government to dish out funding, but there's no actual plan and no policies in place. We're also not preparing for drought as well as we should be, so that when they come, we can be for that. So that's some of the things we really want to focus on. So we're not coming back every drought and asking the same questions and facing the same problem. So we can be a bit proactive about drought. Also, it comes into, we really want to change how drought is portrayed in the media.
Yes.
Because that can be quite damaging to the agricultural industry, which is our future. And we also want to look at the communities, because communities are really affected by drought. Small businesses, some of them have to shut down because there just isn't the money coming. So we want to focus on how we can keep our communities thriving.
Really admire what you're doing, Sally, and you are indeed a role model for many young Australian farmers. Thank you so much for joining us, Sally Downey from the town of Trundle.